All right, everybody, welcome into another episode of Sports with Doc and Dudes. We are down one dude today, but Dwayne and Dustin, great to be with you. How are we doing today?
Living the dream.
I hate my life.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we're going to get into that. So, no, go ahead.
Well, that was it. I just hate my life.
Okay, well, all right. So, but yeah, coming off a really busy weekend of NFL wildcard games, so I've got a lot to look at there. College basketball, we've had some big things happen in college basketball. A lot of ranked teams lost this past weekend, including Texas Tech, who had a lot of momentum and then kind of just came up a little bit short against K-State. So excited for what we have to get into today. And so Dwayne, we'll just kick it off with you.
This is the low-hanging fruit, but just the everything that went down yesterday with the Cowboys, and I'm going to talk about the Cowboys just because, like I said, low-hanging fruit, man. Everybody's on deck about oh, he got greedy, he wanted 15 yards, 20 yards instead of the 10 that he should have got, and I think in that position as a competitor, as at that press conference, like, you're going to do everything you can to set your team up to 10 yards is 10 yards. He was, from what I've heard, he was only supposed to get 10 to 11 yards, but he tried to get, what did he end up getting, like 20 or so? And it's like I said, man, as a competitor, I think you're going to do whatever it is you need to do. And he probably should have had a little bit more of awareness. And, most of the people that are saying that the refs are cheated out the Cowboys, they don't know the damn rule. The umpire has to put the ball in play. He's got to physically touch it and put it in play. And he actually was helping the Cowboys out because he should have gone behind the line of scrimmage, behind the offense. But once he put it in play, he went behind the defense. He was out of position. He went out of position to try to help them get that snap off, and they didn't. So, and it's like, I don't remember who I was telling last night, my brother or my sister. I'm like, half these people that are posting on Twitter on Twitter and Facebook, they have no clue that that's the rule. They're just upset. And granted, man, people were invested. They were showing it. People were crying at the game. So, I don't know. That's tough. I wanted the Cowboys to win. I just, I'm not a diehard like most people, but it's like I saw last night, they always find a way to break your heart. So
yeah,
that's tough.
Well, it's funny because, Stephen A. Smith was on one this morning too, which is always, part of it with the Cowboys. But, he has a shirt accident waiting to happen with the Cowboys. And yeah, I really thought and in fact, when we picked the games last week, I thought the Cowboys were going to win, but
oh yeah,
it's just, I don't know. And we can get into this, but I don't know what the answer is for that franchise, because what has it been? How long has it been since they've won a playoff game?
I couldn't even tell you.
13 years.
13 years?
13 seasons.
13 seasons. I mean, and then it's been 27 years. Crap, I was a senior in high school the last time they won the Super Bowl, which tells you how long ago that's been. But it's just, I don't understand. I don't know what you do moving forward as a franchise. Because there's a lot of people calling for McCarthy's job. And ironically, Kellen Moore is in the mix for a lot of these head coaching vacancies. I don't know. It's just a weird deal with that team, man. I don't know.
Yeah. What has McCarthy been there? 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
This is the second year. Yeah, I don't know. And like I said, I'm not as dialed in, as hardcore as some of the people, so I couldn't. I know they're uber talented and they should have won. I thought they had a rough first half, and defense came out and played second half, and I don't know, man. I'm with you. I don't know what they need to do. I know the offensive line was bad.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about this subject at all because
okay,
I hate the whole subject, but stupid Dwayne has to bring it up the first topic of the day.
Yeah.
Go ahead and ruin the whole podcast for me right now. I don't even want to be a part of this right now, Dwayne. Thanks a lot. What I will say, though, is I read a lot of, Tony Dungy he made a comment last Sunday, it was last Wednesday. He made a comment that said the way to beat the Cowboys is run it right down the throat. You have these great edge rushers in DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. And that's exactly what San Francisco did. They run it right down the middle. That's how they got their first touchdown. And Jimmy Garoppolo really didn't have a chance to mess up, which is what they would have wanted to happen. However, when it comes to the play calling, Jerry Jones is the epitome of, I think he is the Dark Lord of Star Wars, pretty much. That's what I will compare him to for forever. He is what did you call him? What's he called? The Dark Emperor or whatever the hell he's called.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Jerry Jones in a nutshell. What I will say, though, is he made a good point yesterday in an interview, and he said we should never been in that situation. And that's what I like to look at when it comes to these games and it comes to last-second shots, or let's just say somebody, it has to come down to a last-second shot or a last-second hitter or anything like that. There's a whole game before that.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to take into context the whole game. Cowboys played a horrible first half. Horrible. And then you come out in the second half and you're still a little bit stagnant, but you're playing a little bit better. So to come back from 16-0 and come back and make it a 5-point game at the end was pretty good. But the one thing I will say about the whole thing is, I saw a lot today about situational awareness. Larry Fitzgerald, they were in the Arizona Cardinals were in a game, and he took the ball and actually gave it to the field judge so the field judge could set it down, because that field judge has to touch the ball before the next play starts. Well, Dak Prescott gets down and he gets up and he hands it straight to the center. Well, the center gets down on the ball. The field judge still has to touch it. So instead of handing it to the field judge, and if you look at that, it's about 2 seconds it took him to get up there, spot the ball, and he moved it twice, and then he set it, and that was too late. I don't blame the field judge. That's just football, and it sucks how it turned out. Our defense didn't show up. Ezekiel Elliott is the highest paid short yardage running back I've ever seen in my life.
He's a fullback.
He's a fullback.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is. So I don't, like I said, I put it on everybody. It's the Cowboys' fault. Like, it has nothing to do with anybody else. It's not bad coaching. It was just bad all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is what it is, and we'll go from there with it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I don't want to dwell on it, obviously, but like,
yeah, you do. Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes,
maybe a little.
You guys,
but like,
I'm just happy Preston's not here. That's the only thing I'm proud about.
We're out there, right? But no, to your last thing you said, Dustin, to go from there. So I'm just curious what you guys think. Like, where do the Cowboys go from here?
I think they keep.
Go ahead,
Dustin.
Go. No, Dwayne, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Dwayne.
I think they need to keep McCarthy, and if Kellen Moore gets a head coaching job, I think he's obviously going to take it. So they got to go out and get another OC. And I don't know, I can't even think of his name. He was the guy at Houston. He was the head coach at Houston. Bill O'Brien.
Yeah.
He's been up for, his name's been brought up for a few head coaching jobs. So maybe he's somebody they look at, but man, it's kind of like the Tech situation. Well, we're not doing good, so we're just going to fire him. Well, you're imploding everything and starting all over, every 2 or 3 years. So, man, I think they keep him, and I say that, who knows what Jerry Jones is going to do. So I think they should keep him, though.
I honestly think we should get rid of Zeke. That's a huge contract that we're stuck with. It was a $90 million contract. He's in the third year of it. Tony Pollard showed out this year. Our offensive line's getting old. I mean, we have the pieces. Defense is looking good. We just signed Marcus Parsons. I mean, we're not anywhere near we need to rebuild, but no. I do think that there's huge contracts that Dak hasn't proven himself yet. but we just gave him a huge amount of money. We're stuck with 3 huge contracts. We can't do anything with them, so we need to unload them and hopefully trade Zeke and get some younger offensive linemen. And we're in the rare Dallas Cowboy Nation is in a rare position to where our defense is actually great. Our defense is super good. So now we need to address the other side of the ball. We need to find a kicker that can kick the ball straight is a big thing. I don't know. I will tell you this. I learned something the other day. I was watching 60 Minutes and Justin Tucker. They were talking to Justin Tucker. Did you know they use 2 different footballs?
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't.
Dwayne, you didn't know that.
They use a kick. There's a kicking ball, and then there's a
regular ball.
Regular play ball.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that. But Justin Tucker was talking about it, and I thought that was the most interesting in the world. But anyway, I think we need to offload one of our huge contracts and get 2 or 3 players for it, or some draft picks or something. But somebody said that, I also read that they'd be interested in seeing Dan Quinn go straight down to the head coach, getting rid of McCarthy. Dan Quinn and Kelly both have, I think, 5 or 6 person interviews. But you take that defense that Dan Quinn ran and, get you a new who was I don't know if you guys remember this, the defensive backs coach for the Seahawks, and then he came to the Cowboys. And he's with, I don't remember who he was. I'm going to have to do research on that. Anyway, though, but I would love to see Kellen Moore go be a head coach somewhere and us get an offensive coordinator and go to and bring Dan Quinn down.
Yeah. Well, and I think one thing that works in the Cowboys' favor is that they're in a terrible division. So like the Giants certainly aren't going to be good anytime soon. The Eagles are not, as we saw the other day, are not really all that great. And Washington's, I think, they need a quarterback too. So until they get that solved. So I think Dallas has some margins there that maybe a team in another division doesn't have. But yeah, there's definitely some things that, Bill O'Brien, I think, would be a good name, and he's in the mix too. But like Brian Dable up at Buffalo, if he doesn't get a head coaching job, like, I don't know. I mean, they just hung 47 on New England. I mean, that he could be somebody to look at as well too. But I think, Dustin, you make a good point. And that's the thing with the NFL, when you give those max deals, they can really set your organization back a ways, if the players don't perform. And that's why I think we've seen the running back position become so devalued, because you can plug in a guy like Tony Pollard, right? And he can do just fine at probably 10% or 20% of whatever you're paying Elliott. So I don't know. It's just, but then Jerry's loyal to some of those guys, right? So then he just gives them the money. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I would put Dak in the top 5. I don't know. He's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
No.
So, yeah, but
especially not after this year, after you saw Justin Herbert went off, Josh Allen, even Tua Tagovailoa showed up.
Yeah.
Brady, of course, is 412 years old and still throwing 500 yards a game.
Yeah.
But that's. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, lots to chew on and marinate there with the Cowboys and America's team. So, well, let's shift gears then, Dustin. So what do you got?
I have a question about the NFL recently changed their COVID protocols from 10 days to 5 days. Mm-hmm. So if you go 5 days, you test positive for COVID, you only have to sit out 5 days and then get retested. So with the new Omicron variant, all of these new variants in the CDC still sticking to it, everybody has kind of lowered their protocol branch. So this may not be really a sports question. I think it is, though, because the NBA has done it as well. They've lowered the sit-out time for COVID. The COVID numbers haven't really went down. So why do you think, as a business such as the NFL, why do you think that they have taken the steps to go down with their protocols? Is it a monetary thing? Is it
we're not going to listen to the CDC anymore and this is ridiculous, or where are we at? Because you talked about it earlier with Texas Tech and COVID. You see all these arenas and they're packed, but we still have all of this COVID scare. So what, I mean, is sports just, we don't worry about COVID in sports anymore? Or do you think America's just came to the time to where it's like, you know what, look, we're tired of it. We're just going to live with it and suffer the consequences?
Oh boy, that's a good one. I think,
That is.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Yeah, I think it's everything you said. I think they're losing some money, and they're going to do everything they can. They want the best product they can have on the field. So if Tom Brady's going to get COVID and he's going to miss 3 games or whatever, then, well, hell, that's going to hurt your bottom line. If I can get him back to where he only misses 2 games or 1 game, then I'm going to do everything I can. And like I said, I think everybody's just tired of it. We're going on 2 years of this, and people are tired of it. It's literally divided the country, and people are just tired and ready to get back to whatever normal is. So I think, it's hurting their money, and they want their best product on the field to bring in and try to at least get some of that money back, some of that money that they've lost out in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I think, I would absolutely agree with that. And then I also think, a lot of people in sport, they want someone else to do it first. So like when the NBA did it, then I think, okay, the NFL's like, okay, well, the NBA did it, so now we can do it, right? And there's just a lot that goes into it. I mean, I know the CDC has recently modified some of their guidance in terms of, how long people have to isolate or quarantine or whatnot. So, I mean, I don't know that they're necessarily deviating a lot or significantly from what the CDC's most recent updated guidance is, but this is something that there's just so many layers to it, right? Because like it all depends on where you are. So if like you're in Texas, if you're an educational institution, you cannot require people to wear masks, based on Governor Abbott's executive order. That's not the case in New York. That's not the case in, California or somewhere else, right? So you're kind of subject to the local kind of conditions that are there. But, I don't know. I mean, there's an optics issue and, oh man, that's an outstanding background, Dustin. That is super awesome. But, so it's all to say like, but I've read some articles recently too about the testing, so there's been some people who have said, why are we testing people who are healthy? Like we shouldn't be testing people unless they are presenting symptoms. And I'm not saying, I'm just saying that's a perspective that I've seen put out there. Right. So like it's, I mean, I think to your point, Dwayne, I do think there's a good number of people who are just like, look, we got to push through this. We got to, keep things going. We are starting to see like concerns about supply chain distribution and empty store shelves and those sorts of things. So, I mean, it kind of goes beyond sports clearly, but, for where we're kind of the world we're kind of, working in, we have to kind of look at that side of it too. And I just think every organization has to do what they think is best. And, a lot of them are just kind of copycats. They wait till somebody else kind of makes the first move. So. But I don't know, college basketball is constant. It's in a state of, it's really crazy for the college basketball people, teams and coaches and staff. Cause there's so many teams on pauses and so many games are trying to be rescheduled and, and then I don't know, like, again, it depends. I'm not trying to be definitive here, but like, there's people who say that if you get the Omicron, the symptoms are less mild. So it's not as significant as perhaps the Delta variant was. So, I don't know, just those are the tough decisions that administrators and folks have to make. And you just have to do the best. You have to protect your product, protect your employees, protect your fans, protect your consumers. But I don't know, at some point, I think life has to kind of go on too,
I think it's just, I can't really comprehend because it doesn't, make any sense into what's safe anymore, who has our best interests at heart, or if it's finally going to come down to, you know what, you do what you do. And if you get it and go from there with it. I mean, the hell, the NFL's already already talked to Dallas about being a backup in case Los Angeles takes California doesn't change their rules somehow. So that's going to be interesting to see if the NFL is such a power weight to where the state actually says, you know what, we're going to back off our rules for this one game and see what happens.
Yeah.
But then you look at things like Brooklyn with Kyrie Irving. They still won't let the guy play at home. He can't play at home in Brooklyn because he refuses to get the vaccine. So we've seen states fight back and say, look, you guys aren't bigger than us. And that's Brooklyn, New York. I'm going to be very interested to see the Super Bowl and see what Roger Goodell does working with the governor of California.
Yeah, no. And actually when you said that just made me think about, I don't know if you guys saw with Novak Djokovic at the Australian Open, but Novak Djokovic won't get the vaccine either. And he says, I've already had COVID, so I have natural immunity, so I should be allowed to play. And Australia, then I think one judge initially said he could play, and then they appealed it, and then they finally deported him, I think, over the weekend. So the whole Djokovic thing is kind of another example of that as well, too, but I don't know. It's very interesting time. So definitely something to kind of keep our eye on for sure there. But yeah, I think we kind of learned from, the first year of it when they canceled the tournament and like what the financial ramifications of that were, and the College World Series and all that. Like, I think they will move heaven and earth to have these events. Like, you know what I mean? And whatever they have to do, because we cannot not have the Super Bowl and cannot not have the tournament, so and at the end of the day, money talks, money talks, and they'll find a way to get it done. So that's a really good one to talk about. So well, I thought you were gonna talk about something else, so I'm actually gonna bring it up, Dustin, and that is, and I think it was you who sent it to me, but like, I just saw that tickets for WrestleMania were $20,000. Is that what you sent, Dustin? Right. So and look, I don't want to go into a rabbit hole of like just talking about WWF all day, or WWE, sorry, but I'm just curious what you guys think. Like, what is the attraction of sports like WWE and the UFC? Because they have massive audiences. We don't really talk about them a whole lot when we talk about sports. We kind of tend to focus on the big four and big time college athletics, but I'm just curious, like, how is it that a ticket for WrestleMania is that much? I'm just kind of curious what you guys think.
So I actually have it pulled up for proof because I don't want anybody to say, "Oh, that's
that's what I'm looking at too."
Okay.
Let me share my screen real quick and I'll show you guys, because I'm not making this up. I promise you. Not like I'd want to make this up anyway.
That's right. Yeah, we get fact checked.
Easy.
But anyway, so this is section A. So this is right by the ring. Granted,
Okay.
It's row 1, but it's right there. 20
Yeah.
grand. You'll pay
Okay.
20 grand a piece. If I want to take my son to go see WrestleMania, it's going to cost me almost what my down payment would be on a really, really, really nice house.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, and then you go over here to 15R, which, still $500.
Yeah.
And so, and take in mind, how big's the ring? You're the wrestling aficionado. What is it, 10 by 10?
Yeah, probably about that.
I don't know. It's not that big, right?
Right.
But anyway, the thing I'm saying is that I have no idea what the plug is to any live event. I was talking about this with a friend on Saturday, and we were watching Saturday, because we were watching the Buffalo Bills game where it was 6 degrees. 6 degrees.
Heck no.
And all these people are out there. There was even a guy that had I want to say this kid was maybe 2. He had him in like a big fluff parka did you see that, Dwayne?
Yeah.
With his jersey on. I was like, bro, it's 6 degrees. And we were talking about it, and I was like, man, I love this stuff, but I'm paying $50 to go watch a game. And then I got to pay $12 for drinks and food and everything like that, when I can just stay at home. But $20,000, I would much rather pay the $60 pay-per-view to watch this thing. Or now it's even on Peacock for free.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will plug Peacock so Peacock can sponsor Doc and Boys podcast.
That's right. Yeah, I love my Peacock. Yeah.
to watch WWE pay-per-view events for free.
Yep.
So, and Doc knows this because he's been going back and watching his old Sting WrestleMania videos. He told me about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have no idea how it's transpired so much to where it is today. I mean, it was popular back with Hulk Hogan and Sting and people like that, but it's a whole new different avenue now.
Yeah, I don't care for the current product, to be honest with you. Yeah, like I kind of think like that when the Attitude Era ended in WWE, when like Austin and The Rock and all of them kind of got out of it, I think that's kind of when it, really, at least in my opinion, kind of just stopped being watchable. But I think your point about the live events is really interesting because like I, and I would just much rather watch it at home, than go sit outside. I mean, I don't know. Probably because I'm getting old, but like, now don't get me wrong. I mean, we live in Lubbock, so like I love going to the certain tech sporting events, right? Like basketball, baseball, softball, but like even like I've only been to one tech football game in 3 years here because I just much rather sit at home with my big screen TV and watch football, like, than sit outside in 100-degree weather watching Tech and Houston Baptist, so I don't know. It's just like I find myself, I really have to. And the other reason I go to a lot of the live events on Tech is because I have students in class who play, so I go watch them. But like, I mean, I can't even remember the last professional sporting event I went to live. I mean, it's probably been 6 or 7 years. So I think the in-home experience is just getting much more superior than, again, unless you're a diehard, but like, I don't care who's playing. I'm not going to sit in 6-degree weather. Forget that. Forget that.
Yeah, no shot. No shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would rather stay home. I don't like being around all those people.
Yeah.
COVID or not, I don't. Plus, I mean, you're at a live event. Everybody knows better than the people that are actually going through the event, that are actually coaching and playing. Everybody, I don't know, maybe it's because I had coached for so long and it just, I got thin skin when it comes to that stuff, and it just wears me out. I went to a football game. I went to the Oklahoma State game whenever Tech played Oklahoma State, and my buddy, he's got season tickets, and the people sitting next to him, the lady sitting next to him, I mean, the officials are bad. That was whenever, Brian Jensen and his partner, they got suspended for that following game. One of the ladies was like, tackle the ref. I'm like, lady, really? Like, come on. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I would rather watch it at home, save money. So
I think it's going to be a real challenge for sports organizations in the future because I think like the college student audience and younger, like I just don't know that they're like, I mean, they're not to say they're not passionate fans, but like I just don't know that they want to sit there for 4 hours. Like they would rather be doing other things. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but like I just wonder if it's a long-term sustainability question for sports organizations because if we just look at how entertainment consumption is changing just in general, I don't know that sports is going to be immune from that, but maybe it will. I don't know, so, but yeah, we'll
and
see.
I think we're kind of and I don't know. I'm not big into college basketball, but Baylor's getting that new arena, that Riverfront Arena, right on the river. Where they're going to put it, it's freaking unbelievable. It's nice.
Yeah.
And they're only going to make it hold like 12,000, 13,000 people. So and that may be kind of where some colleges are going to trend. We're going to make it smaller, make the arena smaller, so maybe there's a little bit more competition for tickets, so we can price them a little more. That was kind of what I was thinking. Like I said, I don't know, I don't follow basketball very much at all, so but I just thought that I was curious, and I don't know how much the Spirit Arena holds, but it just doesn't seem like it's ever sold out. And even whenever they were making that run, a couple years ago, it just didn't ever seem like it was and there's no seats. It's standing room only. So I don't know, and that may not even be the reason why. It may be the product, but I don't know. But yeah, I tend to agree. Maybe it's shifting towards staying at home.
Yeah, and then I think just too, like, I think now that I think about it, like we went when we were in Clemson, we went to a Carolina Panthers preseason game, and like they charged the same price for preseason as regular season. So we spent like $600, probably because it was $100 a ticket, and then whatever our hotel up in Charlotte was, and all that. So, and I mean, just like you can buy yourself a dang nice TV for $650 today,
Yep.
right? So it's like, and that was preseason. So like my son was a big Cam Newton fan at the time, and like, the starters played 2 series, and then it was just the scrubs, So I think that kind of left the bad taste in my mouth. But like I don't know. I think, and Dwayne, you'll appreciate this maybe, but like I think baseball is still pretty affordable to an extent, But like, I mean, I don't know. Even it's, I just think it's something to watch with like changing consumer preferences and stuff. Because yeah, even like, I don't know. Things are just different now. It seems like so. But no, that's it. I appreciate you sharing that. And that's, look, if Hulk Hogan was wrestling, I'd pay $20,000 to watch because he's freaking
Hulk
the
Hogan,
greatest.
Andre the Giant wrestling.
He's the greatest American hero we've ever had. But it's just like Hulkamania is gonna run wild. But
They're gonna call that the handicap match because
I know, yeah.
the handicap match.
I know. Well, it's really interesting to like, and then we'll wrap it up here. But like when you go back and watch those old like early WrestleManias or SummerSlams or whatever it is, like how many of them are dead? Like there's very few of them who are still alive. Like it's pretty crazy, like, and granted they, a lot of them did drugs and did steroids, and
that's what I was gonna say. That was a harder life back then with those guys.
Well, and they're on the road, they're on the road like 300 days a year. So like, that just the lifestyle, but yeah, it's just kind of crazy to think about that. But last one for me, were you guys surprised Georgia beat Alabama?
I mean, I was.
I am.
And you know what? I had a question. I'm going to add this too real quick. So Mac Jones, played for the Patriots, had a really good rookie year. Tua did okay. But I was talking to a buddy about this, and I asked him, I was like, can you name at least 4 quarterbacks that were from Alabama or a Power 5 school that were not a Power 5 school, but from, Alabama that were successful in the NFL? You have Jalen Hurts now, and then you have Tua, and Tua is not really, Tua is okay.
Yeah.
But I was talking more about the 5-star. I'm talking about like the AJ McCarron's, the he's the Greg McElroy, guys like that. And he kind of explained it to me. He said, look, those are like all-star high school teams. If you look at the recruiting, they recruit all the 5 stars, right?
Yeah.
So when these quarterbacks get in there, they have the best wide receiver, they have the best offensive line, they have the best running back. But then these guys get to the NFL and they don't have that anymore. They've got, and NFL players aren't normal, but I mean, they have, problems like everybody else does. So it was really nice to see a guy that was a walk-on, and his story is just pretty cool anyway. Little guy wanted to play for Georgia and grew up, finally got there. But, I was really impressed. Kirby Smart came out with that good of a game plan. And just kind of put it straight to the Heisman Trophy winner. And I mean, I was surprised. I went on a tangent there. I don't even know where I was going with any of that.
He didn't look like a Heisman Trophy winner, man.
No,
I know that.
No,
Georgia's defense was unbelievable.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point about the high school recruiting, because like Bryce Young played at Mater Day, wherever they're in LA, and like that place is, I mean, you talk about like just having a roster full of 5-star, like it's ridiculous. And then like I think there's another one, Don Bosco Prep, I think was over there, and that's where like the kid at Clemson, Ungavale, is from there, and like so yeah, it's like they have all these tools, but then like, yeah, they can't, you don't see that jump to the next level. And if you look at, you know, I mean, just some of the, granted, there's always going to be the stars, but like, you know, like Kurt Warner. I mean, if we go back to him, like he was bagging groceries and played in the Arena League, and then becomes, you know what I mean? So, and like even Big Ben, like he played at Miami of Ohio. You know, he wasn't a, you know, he wasn't a legit, what you would consider a legit D1 program. So, yeah, that's really interesting to think about. I was happy Georgia won. I was surprised they won, but I was definitely happy they won. So
Yeah.
it's always good to see Alabama lose, in my opinion. But yeah, so all
And
right,
they
well, we
got
got
some
one
guys
more.
leaving too that have entered the transfer portal. Alabama has, so
Who
they've had a
did?
couple guys. Alabama, one of their
Oh,
tight ends went to UT. He committed to UT yesterday, and I think one quarterback for sure, and I
hmm.
think another one was kind of mulling it over. So they're having a little bit of, they're going through it a little bit now too. So
Yeah, yeah. That thing is nutty, man. Yeah, trying to keep up with that. That's a crazy
I'm
deal.
not even surprised anymore.
No. Mm-mm.
There's like
yeah,
7 kids in it every day.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Has Caleb Williams hasn't gone anywhere, has he? I haven't seen, but okay,
No,
maybe
I
quarterback.
last I had seen was they've gotten some pictures of him in a USC uniform.
Oh,
Yesterday is when I saw that,
okay.
but I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't know, man. It's free agency in college sports, you know. But I guess
Yep.
that's where we're at. So we got the Cardinals and the 40 and the Rams tonight, and then that'll set up our divisional games. So we'll have a lot to unpack, obviously, next week when we get together. But yeah, just another great session, and good to be with you. And hopefully next week we'll have Preston with us. And thanks for listening to Sports with Doc and Dudes, and we'll catch you on the other side.